Last night I also share the content for today and the following week regarding to open web application security project, which is about the web application vulnerability. But inside is the resource because they have two folder and include inside the real file. One is about the slide that you can review for today and present, and uh, another file is about the loss regarding to the OWASP profile. So, okay, so let's go back to our topic today. If you don't have any questions to reply from previous so you already record, right? Not yet. So please have to record again. Okay. Can you see my screen right now? Yes, teacher. Yes, teacher. Okay. So far, I have one question. Anyone aware about the OWASP? You used to see the word OWASP before? Yes. No, teacher. There is some don't know. I don't know too, teacher. Okay. So if many people know, so no need to share. Okay. Just kidding around. Actually, OWASP, it full as you see on the slides, Open Application Security Project. Is the project to do the assessment or so to assess all the web application, different kind of web application to find out the top common vulnerability, and then do some advice to developers, to web application owner, to the pen tester, or to other that regarding to security for advisory and also some other comment. Okay, so far OWASP is not only the project at all, but OWASP is become an organization already. So because of the popularity of the OWASP project, so far what as I know it starts in 2007 and then go to 2010, 2013, 2017. So it have several projects already that have conducted that include the web application security. And besides for this years, was not yet conduct for 2019 or 2021 or 2020 for the OWASP project, but they extend to look at another areas that focus on API and also for Internet of Things. So far, the latest, or we call the current report of the OWASP is based on 2017, and then move to 2019 and recently 2020. They look at the project that focus on API and also for Internet of Things. So inside the resource, you can see the reference document that I already put inside. Okay. And OWASP have been used as the baseline or framework, we can call as the framework for the pen tester also. So when the pen tester, they conduct the pen test, basically they do the pen test based on the top 10 vulnerability that stay inside these projects. So they go straight and then they do some specific discovery whether on that web application, it have the vulnerability that associated with that top 10 or not before they move to locate another area. Okay, so in order to understand more on the OWASP, I selected for the specific 2017 report to add as this slide presentation because I would like to share and ask and maybe advise some ideas for you to read and report. Okay, so there's some understanding regarding to the risk methodology, how they conduct the project, the survey that come up with all of relevant information to share in this report. Okay, so the goal of the top 10 projects the goal of the top 10 projects is to raise awareness about application security by identifying some of the most critical risks facing the organization. Basically, facing the organization who use web applications. The primary of the OWASP is to educate developer, designer, architect, manager, organization as a whole for the consequent and important security weakness. So it's when if you are the developer, you can use it as the benchmark also to develop or design your web application architecture. As your manager, you can use it as a checklist to check or to verify with your developer, your team, whether they really follow the standard or the framework or not. Okay, as the organization, yes, we based on the overall framework or something like that to explain that our web application or yes, web-based application is secure. And also, as I mentioned, because our friend also have request that because they want to know about the weakness or vulnerability that happen on mobile. Actually, mobile is also the part of application that extend from the web applications. So yes, of course, there are some specific part like a root device or something like that. That's specific for the for mobile device, but actually the initiate of the pen tester to locate the vulnerability of the mobile applications is also based on the mobile. Okay, so the top 10 provide basic technique to protect against this high risk problem area and also provide the guidance on where to go from here. So from here, you can use this as a guideline to develop your web application, design the architecture, and as the checklist or perform the pen test based on this baseline of frameworks. Okay, so what is my risk? So to answer this question, I think it's a bit difficult to go to some consultant or to go to a specific penetration tester or something like that. But the thing is, before they can have to answer, you need to provide them environment or asset that you cover first. And then later, they can advise or maybe you yourself can do yourself if you understand your environment clearly. Okay. So based on this, like only you know the specific of your environments and your business. Therefore, you should evaluate each risk for yourself. Okay? So if you don't know how, you can hire them. But at least you need to know what are the scope, what is your environment, what is asset inside your list to put for them to do the risk assessment. Okay? Okay, so before I go through the project detail a little bit, any questions so far until this? Hello? No, teacher. Ada, don't have question also? Not yet, teacher. Okay, so to sum up about the so far we call history of the OWASP project. Actually, OWASP started in 2007 So from 2007 until 2017, until now, up to 2021, there's a four version of the OWASP project report. So in 2017, come up with different lists of the top community. Move in 2010, OWASP conduct another research about the vulnerability and then come up with another top 10. So the top 10 from 2017 and 2010, it can be some part is drop, some part is keep the same if the web applications still face those kind of vulnerability, and also some can change ranging. Okay, sometimes it's in A2 or A1 or something like that, and then it move to another range. Okay, so again, I would like to clarify a little about this. OWASP top 10 vulnerability, it doesn't mean that all web applications in 2017 have only this top 10. No, in 2007 have only this 10 vulnerability. Not like that. It have like thousands of vulnerability, but this one is the top 10. It's been common vulnerability that happens to nearly all web applications. Okay, move to 2010, it also have another vulnerability. Okay, but this vulnerability is not only 10 like this, but this one is the top common one. Okay, I hope you understand that. Don't misunderstand that. Okay, in 2017 have only 10 vulnerability. 2010 have only another 10. No, it's not like this. It has thousands or more than that vulnerability, but this one is uh, only the top tens that mostly we use as the baseline. Okay. Okay, so you can see like in 2007, in 2007 you can see injection flow. For 2007 is in number 2, A2, but when into to 2010, it became injection. This means based on the research of like uh, more than thousand more than thousand web applications that put inside the survey, injection in 2010 is happened, but more a lot than cross-site scripting. Okay, and later we will go through each of the components and then try to understand one. Okay. So you can see in 2007 it had injection flow, cross-site skipping, token authentication, insecure direct object reference, cross-site request forgery, and some other is a little bit changing, or some is it dropped because there's no more problem or vulnerability that happens. Okay, and some also find the new that happens to the web applications. Okay, so for move to 2010 and 2017 compare together, we can see some is move the ranking, some is move from other, and some is drop, some is more control. Okay, and the last one is 2017. That some of the top 10 vulnerability in 2013 have been moved or involved, or some has been merged and some has been dropped. Okay? So for this slide, I will focus more on the OWASP top 10 the current OWASP top 10 report in 2017. So we will go through specific from injections until the insufficient logging and monitoring. Okay. Any questions so far until this? So far there's four reports dedicated specific on the OWASP web application security project. And another two report that I add into the resource that I have mentioned, one is for API, another one is for Internet of Things. Okay. Any questions before we go deep down a bit detail about each vulnerability, common vulnerability in 2017 before?
No.
No, teacher. Okay. Can you guys go through this list and anyone that from the web application developer, maybe anything you familiar with? Or anyone have read through the report?
I have read some teacher, but not remember.
Read some but not remember. What does it mean? We don't need to remember, we need to understand what is it. At least you read and then you understand what is it about. Okay, let me go to some student and ask about it. Mày Huân, okay, Mày Huân. How are you, Mày Huân?
Yes, teacher, I'm fine, teacher. Thank you.
Okay, Mày Huân, can you have a look on the screen for the 2017? Can you still see my screen, see the slide?
Yes, I see the slide.
Okay, can you have a look which one that you a little bit familiar with, and can you share what is it?
Sorry, teacher. For me, I experienced with the desktop application, teacher. I'm not a web developer, teacher. So
What does it mean? What does it mean? Desktop application.
it means I use, for example, VB.NET or C# to develop application for a computer, teacher, not for web.
Is it have the login?
Yes, it has login, teacher.
Okay, so you should familiar with the word token authentication.
Yes, teacher. But
But
for me, I never use about OS, teacher. OS.
no. I'm not going through OWASP yet. I ask you about what are the vulnerability list here that you a bit like somehow can associate with something. Okay, never mind. Okay. Yeah. Let me to go to another. Uh, okay. Who Pierre. Pierre, any familiar vulnerability list here that you can explain a little bit, just a little bit?
For me, I'm not familiar with this. Actually, when develop that, when I develop any application like mobile application or web application, um, I I don't know about the security because
I don't know or
I'm
I
like
don't care.
don't
I
care.
don't know or I care.
I don't care. Just only develop the
Okay.
application.
Okay. Understand.
Yes,
Yes.
let me share something.
Okay, Bitu, right?
Yeah, and itu I'm honestly also not known about before, but for under this I saw the word injection. So let me guess what is injection mean, and please correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, for injection about the vulnerability, I think
Okay.
that things like we they are embed or inject code to web application, for example, WordPress. mostly they provide the plugin free for the WordPress template. So the hacker, they can inject the hacking code inside the plugin. Yes, this is what I understand from the injection. Thank you, Richard.
Okay. Yes. So just want to confirm that injection here is different from vaccination. Okay.
Can I share my idea?
Can
Yes, translate.
read. Okay. Yes, read.
Yes, I was practiced on the penetration testing, and the injection is about actual injection, no actual injection, etc. We inject it to the web URL where it is one vulnerability with the injection. Like mostly, our path is like index.php and then question mark with the parameter. Those URL path will be vulnerability with the injection, so we can use the SQL injection to see to get the data from SQL with the query, etc. Yes, and also how we use the tool like SQL Map.
Okay.
Yes, and I done a bit one thing about security misconfiguration. Like when I mix those kind of misconfiguration, like ASP.NET, normally they use the default setting from like if I don't remember that it is ISS server from Microsoft, and it is easy to like to attack because it is default, and mostly it has a lot of exploit in the internet as well. So if we don't configure it well, if we just use the default one, it is easily to attack it.
Okay.
Yes.
Anything else you want to add?
I think it is all.
Okay, yes. So I just want to get to know some idea from you a little bit about that, and then yes, let's move to next slide, and I will explain about the structure of the project a little bit before we go to the specific part of each common vulnerability tested inside 2017 report. Okay. Okay, so the report, as you can see, is structured based on all of these components. Okay, it starts from the threat agent and move to threat vector, and then it has security weakness, security goal, and then have the impacts they call and on business. Okay. So if you start to have a look on the detail of the report, we cannot start from the threat agents. Usually, we start from the weakness or the security vulnerability. So what is the security weakness or security vulnerability? And then we will look at it based on two dimensions. Okay, it means here is the return, and then we start to look at to the right side and look from this to the left side. Uh, yeah. Okay. So either you start to look at this first, and then look at another part from the security weakness as the central. Okay. But sorry, Tim, can I ask for about like 10 minutes off a little bit, and then around like 2:55 I will come back. Is it okay? Sorry, because I have something to clear a little bit, and then I will come back to the class. So can I ask for like 10 minutes? Yeah, sorry for the interrupt like this. Yes, I will come back very soon. Really apologize for the interruptions a little bit because I have activity inside my workplace, but it start around like 3:30 or something like that. But I need to check like prerequisite checklist or something like that. I don't want to miss your class again, so that's why at least I have some time to talk to you, and then maybe I want to excuse myself around like 3:30. I hope you understand that. Maybe later we will rearrange for the makeup. Okay?
Okay, so Professor, no problem.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, teacher. Okay.
Apologize for that. Yes. So let's get back to the part that I would like to share. Okay. So can you see my screen right now?
Yes, I see. I see.
Yes. As I mentioned, if we try to uh, if we have a look on order of the component that stand inside this slide, a little bit difficult to understand the report. Okay, so that's why I try to group it and then try to guide you how you can read the report if you want to see more detail. So usually we didn't go like what are the process of a role that's shown on the screen, but we need to divide it into the two parts that I have mentioned to you. So everything to start from security weakness. I can say everything starts from the common vulnerability. So we start from the vulnerability and then we look at what threat agents or attack actor have used in order to exploit that activity. Okay? And then after that, we will look at if we have this kind of vulnerability, whether we have security control or not. If don't, I think it will lead to technical impact, lead to business impact. You understand what I mean? Actually, this kind of process, it will be used, it's similar to the way when you do the risk analysis. So usually risk analysis, it won't start from the who caused the risk, but it will start from the asset and then start with the what we call unwanted incident that you don't want to happen to your asset. Okay, and then leads to illness. Okay, so in this slide for the web application security, as the known asset is the web application itself. So it's time to look at the security weakness. Okay, that can lead to unwanted incident that happens to the web applications. Okay, and then from the unwanted incident, it will associate with what we call threat scenario, and then the attack vector is mean who or what can cause that threat scenario, and then who or what is the threat agent. Okay, and after that, we look in another size from the security up here is like whether we have this weakness, we have control or not. If we don't have control, yes, it will lead to the technical impact, and indirectly, it will cause to the business impact. Okay, so any things you want to clarify about these ones?
Hello, teacher. Can use explanation in Khmer?
In Khmer, okay, okay. Wait a little bit. Michael, you understand what I have said at the moment?
Mm.
Okay. Okay, let me try to first and later we can go back to check. Okay. អញ្ចឹងកន្លែងនេះខ្ញុំចង់និយាយថាបើសិនជាយើងចាប់ដើមមើលអ្នកទូមួយ report ដែលមើលតាមគេហៅថាព្រួយចេញពីណាទៅណាទៅណា it doesn't make sense at all ឆ្នាំថាកន្លែងហ្នឹងវាអាចនឹងធ្វើឲ្យយើង push stress ណាបានន័យថាយើងអត់ដឹងថាវា associate ជាមួយគ្នាតទៅទៀតបានទេអញ្ចឹងបើរបៀបដូចថាការមើល report នេះយើងគួរតែមើលជាពី security weakness បានន័យថាចំណុចខ្សោយដែលយើងមានទៅបានកំណែងទៅខាងស្នាមដៃដែលយើងត្រូវមើលថាតើស្អីដែលជា attack vector ណាដែលជាអ្នកដែលអាចធ្វើគេហៅថា exploit បានន័យថាស្វែងរកឲ្យចំណុចខ្សោយយើងទៅប្រើវិធីសាស្ត្របែបណាដើម្បីប្រើប្រាស់ចំណុចខ្សោយហ្នឹងទៅ impact ទៅចំណុចផ្សេងទៀតណាហើយបើយើងមើលពី security weakness នេះមកខាងមុខនេះបានន័យថាយើងមានចំណុចខ្សោយតែយើងមានអីដើម្បី control អត់ដើម្បី protect ចំណុចនេះអត់បើអត់មានទេអញ្ចឹងតែចំណុចខ្សោយហ្នឹងឯងដែលជាផ្លូវឲ្យ attack vector ធ្វើ activity ហ្នឹងហើយវាទៅ impact technical impact ដំបូងគឺវា destroy ទៅលើគេហៅថា technology ដែលយើងប្រើ asset technical asset ដែលយើងប្រើ letter វានឹងប៉ះពាល់ដល់លុយដល់គេឈ្មោះដល់អីផ្សេងទៀតដែលវាតែពាល់ជាមួយគេហៅថា business impact តោះនេះយល់អីដែលខ្ញុំនិយាយបើសិនជាយើងចង់មើលតាមអារម្មណ៍ចេញពី threat agent attack vector ក៏អី a bit difficult to understand យល់
បានលោកគ្រូបានអរគុណលោកគ្រូ
អញ្ចឹងបាទនៅក្នុងកន្លែងហ្នឹងពេលដែលនៅក្នុង top 10 vulnerability ជាមួយគេនឹង explain ចេញពី security weakness ទៅបន្តមកទៀតគេនឹង rate គេហៅថា rate ទៅលើ exploitation ណា level បានន័យថាបើសិនជា weakness ហ្នឹងវា common ណាឬក៏ widespread ដូចនៅខាងក្នុងនេះណាអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំនិយាយពី weakness ជាមួយនឹងខ្ញុំនិយាយពី weakness prevalent ជាមួយនឹង weakness detectability ណាអញ្ចឹងអានេះវា similar ទេបានន័យថាម៉េចបើសិនជា widespread វាកាន់តែច្រើនការ detect វាកាន់តែ easy ណាបានន័យថាជាឧទាហរណ៍ទៅនៅជួបនិយាយខ្មែរregarding to this, we need to understand the ranking methodology. So ranking methodology is also start from the weakness, security weakness also. So security weakness, it have two. One is prevalence, one is detectability. Prevalence is mean listing of the weakness inside the system. When there are so many weakness, prevalent is mean widespread or exist in nearly all of the system or all of the web application. So the way that you detect to find the weakness is also easy. You understand what I mean?
លោកគ្រូ
Yes, yes.
លោកគ្រូខ្ញុំអត់យល់ខ្ញុំឆ្ងល់ថា diagram slide មុនលោកគ្រូបានមកពីណាលោកគ្រូ
diagram slide ហ្នឹងនៅក្នុងនេះតើនៅក្នុង
ខ្ញុំដឹងថានៅក្នុង reference នេះគេលោកគ្រូ
report ក្នុង report តាមពិតអ្វីដែលខ្ញុំលើកមកនេះវាសិតតែជាការដែលខ្ញុំ associate ចេញមកក្នុង report ឆ្នាំ2017ណា
report បានមកពីណាលោកគ្រូ report បាន
OWASP report Open Web Application Project report បាទ Hello សួរខ្ញុំថាបានមកពីណា Hello Hello
Hello, teacher.
Yes
We can hear you.
You cannot hear me
Lưỡi đá là của lưỡi đá.
បាទមិញគ្នាយើងមានណាដែលគាត់មានសំណួរសួរខ្ញុំមក
ខ្ញុំលោកគ្រូខ្ញុំមនី
បាទមនីសួរថាខ្ញុំបាន report នឹងមកពីណាត្រូវទេ
បាទលោកគ្រូបាទ
អូខេនិយាយរួម report ហ្នឹងយើងអាចទៅ download ពី OWASP ណាអញ្ចឹង OWASP ជា Open Web Application Security Project គឺ report ហ្នឹង available នៅក្នុង internet ណាប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំបានសរុបវាទាំងអស់ហើយដាក់នៅក្នុង folder មួយដែលឈ្មោះ resource អញ្ចឹងនៅក្នុង folder ដែលខ្ញុំ share ទៅឲ្យយើងគឺមាន ក្នុង file zip file ra file ដែលខ្ញុំ share ទៅឲ្យយើងមានពីរ folder មួយគឺ presentation ហើយក្នុង folder resource គឺមាន resource អស់ហ្នឹងឯងសួរថា project ហ្នឹងបានមកពីណាគឺជា survey របស់ OWASP organization អាចទៅ download ពី internet មកក៏បានដែរទាន់
បាទលោកគ្រូមួយគ្រប់ developer ចាំបាច់ទេដែលត្រូវតែ follow step របស់ OWASP នោះ
អាហ្នឹងខ្ញុំគួរនិយាយថាម៉េចបើយើងនិយាយថាយើង strong aware តែទៅនឹង security បាច់ធ្វើទេតែបើយើងគិតថាអូខ្ញុំអត់ដែលដឹងអីពីពាក់ព័ន្ធពី security ពីអីពីអី OWASP ហ្នឹងឯងវាជា benchmark វាជា baseline មួយដែលយើងអាចយកវាទៅតាមបានអូខេ
បាទលោកអរគុណបាទ
គេអត់មានឲ្យយើងទៅ follow ទេប៉ុន្តែគាត់ថាបើយើងចង់ទៅ test ព្រោះអីគេប្រាប់ថាអាហ្នឹងវាអាចជាគេ hack ចូលទៅក្នុង web application របស់យើងអញ្ចឹងយើងប្រើ benchmark ទៅ fix កន្លែងដែលយើងមើលថាអូវាអាចជាកន្លែងដែលមានបញ្ហានៅលើ web យើងដែរយល់
បាទលោក
Okay, can I continue then? Excuse me, Michael is still inside the class?
Yes.
Yes. At the moment that I explain about this diagram, you have any questions, Michael?
No question.
Okay. So after this one, I think at the moment, our team asked me to explain in Khmer also because you don't understand what is the prevalence, is the detectability of the security weakness, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But I'm not sure because some question is cut off my speech at the moment. Vô là nó chỉ khoan thôi đó mà nhớ.
នៅលោកគ្រូនៅ
អូខេអញ្ចឹងនៅត្រង់កន្លែងនេះចង់និយាយថា security weakness វាជា starting point មួយដើម្បីឲ្យយើងអញ្ចឹងទៅ look at another side ខាងស្ដាំខាងឆ្វេងណាអញ្ចឹងហេតុអីបាននៅក្នុង security weakness នេះគេ divide ជាពីរវាមាន prevalence វាមាន detectability ដោយសារតែជាឧទាហរណ៍ថាដំបូលផ្ទះយើងសង្កសីបើសិនជាមានកន្លែងគេហៅថាគេហៅធ្លុះច្រើនកន្លែង of course គ្លៀងវានឹងលេចមកតាមហ្នឹងហើយបើសិនជាចាំថ្ងៃក៏យើងអាចងាយស្រួលមើលឃើញកន្លែងណាលេចកន្លែងណាមិនលេចទេត្រូវអត់ជាងបើសិនជាធ្លុះកាន់តែច្រើន detectability នៅក្នុងការឲ្យគ្លៀងនឹងចូលមកឬក៏យើងមើលទៅឃើញកន្លែងណាលេចកន្លែងណាធ្លុះក៏វាងាយស្រួលក្នុងការរកដែរត្រូវអត់ចុះឧបមាថាបើសិនជានៅក្នុងផ្ទះយើងក្នុងដំបូលនឹង30ម៉ែត្រនេះប៉ុន្តែវាមានធ្លុះទូកមួយទេតែយើងងាយស្រួលក្នុងការរកអត់ណាអញ្ចឹងវា similar បើសិនជាកន្លែងធ្លុះហ្នឹងឯងវានៅច្រើនកន្លែងអញ្ចឹងគេនិយាយថាអូខេនៅក្នុងដំបូលសាក់លេខហ្នឹងគឺវាមាន widespread បានន័យថាកន្លែងធ្លុះហ្នឹងវាមាន widespread ច្រើនអញ្ចឹងការ detect មើលអាកន្លែងចំណុចខ្សោយឡើងធ្លុះហ្នឹងក៏ងាយស្រួលទៅរកដែរណាប៉ុន្តែបើសិនជាមានតែមួយទេអញ្ចឹងវាចូលមកក្នុង level នៃការ rating គឺ uncommon អញ្ចឹងការ detect រកអាកន្លែងណាដែលធ្លុះហ្នឹងក៏ difficult ដែរណាអញ្ចឹងបើយើងខ្លួនឯង detect មើល difficult threat agent បានន័យថា attacker ក៏ difficult នៅក្នុងការស្វែងរកដែរតែបើសិនជាយើងខ្លួនឯងថាអូចំណុចខ្សោយយើងមាននៅគ្រប់កន្លែងការដែលគេ exploit ចូលមកក៏វា easy តាមហ្នឹងណាអញ្ចឹងតែ easy exploit widespread everywhere easy to detect ក៏អាចនឹង lead ទៅកាន់ impact severity ដែរយល់ខ្ញុំនិយាយchứគឺងាយស្រួលនៅក្នុងការដែលគេ hack ចូលមកវាធ្វើឲ្យមានការប៉ះពាល់ធ្ងន់ធ្ងរដែរណា eventually it will lead to business impact អាចការបាត់លុយទៅជាការមានបញ្ហាខូចគេឈ្មោះទៅគេ hack នេះគេ hack នោះ okay so here is the rating methodology that we need to understand start from the weakness or security weakness if security weakness prevalent is mean existing of the security weakness is widespread all over the web application and also the system. So attacker also easy to detect your weakness and easy to exploit also. And then if it's easy, it will lead to a severe cost. Okay, it can destroy your application, your web, or maybe it can do some manipulate on the transaction or something like that, and then steal money indirectly. It is to your business. Okay, so I hope you understand all the ratings methodology here. Anything you want me to clarify, you can ask now, because later we will go to a specific point, and it also have the rating methodology to rate one specific common vulnerability also. Okay, anything you want to clarify for that? Hello, anything?
Noted.
Okay, so if you don't have any questions, we can move to the detail. Okay? Okay, as we can see in the top 10 vulnerability, it starts with injections. Okay? And actually, Mr. Sawan Lai also have gone through and explained a little bit regarding to the injections. Okay? So, because inside the injections, it's like usually when we use the word injections, mostly we associate with the database or actual injection. But actually, it's more than that. Injection is also it can happen through another platform like other expert and also through OS command or something like that. Okay, so the things that easy to understand about injections, you need to understand any place, any particular part of your web application or your system that have interpreter. Okay, so if the place that have interpreters, it means in have the syntax to interpret from the statements that use with the up level to the low level or to the interprets to another syntax. So yes, one of things is related to what we call untrusted data. So if you have interpreter and you have untrusted data, sometimes this kind of untrusted data it can be used to interpreters to interpret and then retrieve information or data that out of expected. So it can move to the database lake or something like that. Okay, you understand what I mean? So security weakness, here you can see the definitions inside the column security weakness. Okay, injection flaw are very prevalent, particularly in the legacy code. Okay, and then injection flaw easily to discover when examine the code and scanner and user can be attackers and injected flows. So it is easy to one. It leads to the three technicals. This means severity three. Okay. So if exploitation three, it means easy. Plan two is still in common. Detectability three is easy to detect. You understand what I mean? Okay, so let's move to another slide first. That it have like, how can I know that I'm vulnerable to the injections? Okay, so application is vulnerabilities to this attack when the user supply data is not validated, filtered, sanitized by applications. So what the data not validate, filter, sanitize. Sometimes we call it as the untrusted data. So when you do the validated, you filter, you sanitize the data, it will be trusted and it will be sanitized so it can be protected from the injections. Dynamic query on non-parameter call without context aware escaping are used directly in the interpreter. So that's I have mentioned to you that usually it happens to the way that untrusted data is used the interpreters. Okay, it's like when you do the select query from the database, but you usually you use the syntax like select guy from what the table name based on the conditions, and then you need like users to interact and then input some value of the criteria from the where statement, and then it can be received interpreter when the interpreter first. Okay, sometimes it's called the parser. Interpret in a wrong way and then ask the database to return unexpected data back to the request. Okay, so that's why we call injections inject untrusted data, value of untrusted data into the syntax and receive interpreters. Okay, you understand what I mean? Hello.
Yeah, hello teacher.
Yes.
Cạp ngọt lại ai vô lại. Injection nó ai vô lại bên copy nó ai vô lại.
Any questions? Okay, so like this. Let's go to see the scenario first, and then later we will back to the prevention. Okay. So scenario is like this. Example of the attack scenario, you can see an application use untrusted data in the construction of the following vulnerable action. So yes, we would like to select the account where the customer ID equal to the the value that needs to supply from the user or from the one who want to query that data. Okay. So what I call the syntax is from the string query until this customer ID is the syntax. Okay. And then here request.get parameter is mean we have input the ID, input what that needs users to supply the value. And then you construct as a whole syntax and request from interpreter to interpret this to the one language that database can understand and then return the requested data follow the real customer ID. Okay? But the problem, okay, when this request.get parameter supplied by this kind of value, or once equal to 1. It means when they use the string select guy from not guy star select star from account where customer ID equal int or 1 equal 1. So customer ID equal int is means false, but 1 equal 1 is true, right? So where false or true, so it will return true, right? So instead of return the data based on the customer ID, it will deceive the interpreters because based on the all condition here, where is already obsolete already. So the thing is select star from account. So all the account it will select out because the condition where is already like true or false already. Okay, so even false is still return, even true is still return. So return all the data from the database. Okay. Hello. Do you understand what I try to explain inside this attack scenario?
Yes.
Yes, teacher. Okay. Yes. So here is the way that we call actual injections. So the way that they inject this kind of all one equal to one. Actually, we call parameter or condition or value. But in the term of attacker, is called payload. Okay. So this kind of payload or this value, it has like 1,000 inside the list. Okay, you can go on, goes to the Google, and then you type like actual injection payload. It will list all of. Let me go and try to show you. Actual injection payload, and then you can find all the payload list. Okay, you can see here. These are the payloads that usually is used to deceive interpreter to return something unexpected from the database. Okay, so here is just a sample, but if inside the tool, such as what we call proxy intercept tool, some other tool like Burp Suite or something like that, it have more than what the example of the payload. And then if we use this kind of injection proxy intercept tool, it also divides into two. One is free, one is enterprise. If you pay, it will be more powerful tool than the free ones. Okay? You understand what I mean? Yes, teacher. Any questions? So here is just an example of the actual injection. But injection it can happen to the directory traversal also. This means can inject the payload to have a look whether inside the folder or directory, what are the folder that we can reach to. So they can inject in order to do directory traversal also. That also can happen. Okay. So back to this slide, how to prevent this one. Okay. To prevent this one thing we can refer to these options. How to detect the first one here, because the data, the root cause is the data is not validated, not filled, not sanitized, not escaped. So if you don't want to do to cause this injection happen to your input block, you need to validate. You need to filter. You need to sanitize your input block data. This is why you inside input block before construct as a syntax and submit to the interpreter. Okay. And then usually we prefer to use the SNAP API. As the inside the API, it will have the sanitization of the data, validate the data, and also filter the data. And beside that, we can whitelist. Whitelist what? Whitelist the specific conditions. Input, sometimes input we can know what is expected on the input. Can be strings, can be only number, can only uppercase or lowercase, something like that. But when it's go to specific syntax, like for example, like or and what other thing else like screen something in yes. So we can whitelist all the kind, or not whitelist, blacklist all this that kind of syntax, and then we can also limit to the potential of injections. Okay, one more thing, because inside the input box, we not expect that we put the script to activate. So if we do the escape is mean transfer all the data inside the input box to the string. So string is the passive content. It never activate anything. If you keep it as the script, you didn't escape, it will come as the original. If it's maybe sometimes activate. But if you escape is mean you transfer all the input in the input box to the string, so it will be content. Okay, so there's some brief of the methodology or techniques that we can prevent injections. Okay, any questions? Hello.
Hello, teacher.
Yes.
You can explain a little bit about the revision.
Okay. Like this. Uh, Injections យើងកំពុងតែ focus នៅលើ injection អញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំនៅ slide នេះសិនណាខ្ញុំចង់បញ្យល់ប្រាប់ថាធម្មតាខ្ញុំលើកឡើងពី actual injection កន្លែងណា escape អញ្ចឹង escape ធម្មតាជាយើងតែឃើញអាសញ្ញាធំសញ្ញាតូចទេអញ្ចឹងឧបមាថានៅខាងក្នុង front end ឧបមាថាយើងទៅ say script អញ្ចឹង script នៅក្នុងសញ្ញាធំសញ្ញាតូចមក location what we call video.location or something like that បើសិនជាយើងដាក់នៅក្នុង script បានន័យថាកន្លែងហ្នឹងវាជា active content បានន័យថាយើងអាច click ដើម្បី activate script ហ្នឹងបានត្រូវទេបើសិនជាអ្វីដែលយើងដាក់នៅក្នុងចន្លោះ script ហ្នឹងណាតែបើសិនជាយើងអត់បាន escape គឺជាវិធីនៅក្នុងការ transfer ដោយសញ្ញាធំអញ្ចឹងពេលដែលយើងផាសវាចូលទៅក្នុង syntax ឬក៏ចូលទៅក្នុង content ខាងក្នុងបើសិនយើងបានធ្វើ escape សញ្ញាធំហ្នឹងវានឹងបាន change ទៅជាភាគរយអីចឹងទៅអញ្ចឹងវានឹងទៅជា string វា no longer expect ថា encryption sorry យើងនឹង no longer expect ថាសញ្ញាធំ script ហ្នឹងវាជា script វាជា active content វាអាច activate ហើយវាឲ្យ send a ចឹងទៅយកខ្ញុំនិយាយទេជាង escape ហ្នឹងគឺ transfer អា syntax មួយចំនួនទៅជា string ព្រោះយើង expect ថាអីដែលយើងដាក់ចូលទៅក្នុង input box ហ្នឹងវាជា string ហ្នឹងយកខ្ញុំនិយាយទេឃើញទេអញ្ចឹងពេលដែលយើងធ្វើ escape ហ្នឹងបានឬក៏យើងប្រើពាក្យមួយទៀតគេហៅថា encode ណា encode encrypt ក្នុងគ្នាខុសគ្នាណា Hello ពាក្យ encrypt decrypt ផ្សេងណានេះខ្ញុំប្រើពាក្យ encoding encode បានន័យថាកន្លែងណាដែលនេះយើងអាច change វាទៅជាភាគរយអីចឹងទៅអូខេព្រោះយើង expect ថាកន្លែងនេះជា string អញ្ចឹងដល់ពេលវាសូមឲ្យ user មើលគឺវាត្រូវធ្វើ encode decode ត្រឡប់មកវិញដើម្បីទៅជាសញ្ញាធំសញ្ញាតូចនេះទៅប៉ុន្តែពេលដែលយើងផាសទៅដើម្បីធានាថាវាជា string វាត្រូវ change វាទៅជាភាគរយអីភាគរយយល់ទេបាទ Any other questions? Oh, you get any some idea from what I have explained at the moment, everyone? Hello. Okay. Mani, how's that? You have any questions? Better, because at the moment I also speak in Khmer. But I hope previous one I explained in English, you can catch up with what I would like to say, okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Teacher, I just have a question with this earlier.
Okay, so now.
I already asked you before.
Okay, so hopefully I can plan and you understand, okay?
Yeah, already.
Yes.
Understand.
Okay. Yes, everyone, I would like to end the class today now because I have exercise, VR exercise at my place. So I need to monitor, I need to check. I cannot leave it. Sorry, so another half of an hour, 1 hour and a half, maybe I will prepare for the makeup class later. Okay? So I would like to finish my our class today first, and please go through the details that I have sent to you. The presentation is in the presentation folder, the resource I have input is in 2007 until 2017. It has 4 report, API vulnerability, and also iOS, not iOS, sorry, Internet of Things. Okay, so if you have time, please go through and have a look on it, and see you next week. Okay. Yes, yeah, thank you so much. I'm a bit apologize for ending the class now. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah,
Thank you, Professor.
thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Thank you, thank you.